We've talked a lot about the theories on personality. Iba't ibang kinds of theories. Pinag-usapan natin yung psychodynamic perspective. Pinag-usapan natin yung behaviorist and social cognitive theories on personality, as well as the humanistic perspective, tsaka yung trait theories. But not all of the things that are explaining our personality is about theories. There are also explanations and other ideas from other fields. For example, the biological influence, the biological influence on personality. So according to the adoption studies and twin studies that we have, meron actually heritability ang personality. So this is a graph on monozygotic and dizygotic twins. Ibig sabihin, fraternal twins at saka identical twins, no? So monozygotic twins are identical twins, and fraternal twins or non-identical twins are dizygotic twins. So they wanted to find out kung are traits inherited, or is it again nature versus nurture? Excuse me. They wanted to find out if the traits or even our personality in general are inherited or not. So, syempre, hindi naman tayo mga hayop na pwedeng pag-eksperimentohan lang, no? There are observations like that in the, animal breeder field. But, of course, in the humans, hindi natin yun makikita kaagad, no? So, what did we do? We looked at twin studies at saka adoption studies. And what did they find out? One particular twin study, yung Minnesota twin study, they revealed that identical twins are actually more similar than fraternal twins. So, kitang-kita nyo naman dito, no? Ayan, no? Mas mataas yung correlation ng scores ng personality kasi they gave the big 5 factors to the twins, no? Either yung monozygotic twins or dizygotic twins, no? Identical twins or fraternal twins. So, they found out that they are more similar, yung mga, what do you call this? Yung mga identical twins. So, identical twins are more similar than fraternal twins, no? Or even unrelated people in intelligence, leadership abilities, tendency to follow rules, the tendency to uphold traditional cultural expectations, no? They are also more alike with regard to nurturance, empathy, assertiveness, and aggressiveness. And you would think na parang, because they were raised in the same household. But this similarity actually holds true even if the twins were raised in different or separate environments. So what does this mean? Ibig sabihin, merong heritability component ang personality, namamana ang personality. Okay, so, but it's only about 50%. No? Several studies have found that the 5 personality factors of 5-factor model have nearly 50% rate of heritability across several cultures. So there is a heritability component of personality, no? But it's around 50%. Okay? So yung sabihin nito, does this mean, oh no, namamana, so ganito na talaga ako? No, okay? I don't want you to, again, think of it that way. Medyo may pagka-fixed mindset yon. Yes, it's relatively stable. Yes, namamana siya. Okay? But that doesn't mean na parang ganyan ka na buong buhay mo. It will just take a lot of effort. Okay? Parang, alam niyo yung idea of reparenting yourself. Diba? So, it will take a lot of effort to somehow influence your personality. It's relatively stable. So, that's the biological influence. They have twin studies. They also have adoption studies kasi they also wanted to find out if yung environment naman, no? People who are unrelated but they were raised in the same environment, will this affect, no? And what did they find out? They just confirmed what the twin studies have shown, in that yung genetic influence account for a great deal of personality development. Okay? So regardless of their environment. So, interesting din yan, di ba? Interesting yan. So, apart from the biological influence, there's also the cultural influence. Yan. So, so alam natin yung twin and adoption studies, heritability of the big 5 is 50%, just a summary. there are also cultural influences on personality. So, si Gert Hofstede, no, medyo matagal na to actually, mga 1980s pa. But they have studied 64 countries. No? Nag-survey sila ng mga workers across 64 countries. And they found out these basic dimensions. Itong 4 basic dimensions of personality across cultures. So, magkakaiba ng personality yung cultures. No? So, yung una is individualism / collectivism. They found out that certain countries are more individualistic compared to other countries who are more collectivistic. So, ano ibig sabihin na itong mga to? Yung mga individualistic cultures, they are people who tend to look after themselves and their immediate family members only. Okay? Mas in-emphasize nila yung certain traits like autonomy, change, no? Security of the individual. Yun yung mga individualistic cultures. So, example nito, United States, Great Britain. Okay, yung mga collectivist cultures naman, mga Asian cultures like Japan, China, Korea, Mexico, they are more collectivist. Okay? So, if you're in a collectivist nation naman, of course, yung makikita mo dito is ni-extend mo yung values na yan to your, extended families like your grandparents, aunts, uncles. Yung loyalty to the family is highly stressed. Okay? And then yung group membership is limited to only a few permanent groups that have tremendous influence over the individual. So, mas binavalue nila yung certain traits like duty, order, tradition, and respect for the elderly. Group security, yung mga ganyan. So, nakita ng group ni Geert Hofstede na may ganitong difference in cultural influence. Power distance is the degree to which the less powerful members of a culture accept and even expect the power within the culture that is held in the hands of the few. Unfortunately, the Philippines has high power distance. They found out, no? Yung mga countries like Philippines, Mexico, and some Arab nations were found to have high expectations, which is a bit sad, no? Kasi parang siguro nakasanayan na natin, no? Parang pabalik tayo dun sa discussion on the learned helplessness. Whereas yung other countries naman like Austria, Sweden, Great Britain, US were low in power distance. They don't expect or accept as much yung idea that the power is held by the few. No? So, what does this mean? Well, maybe we can educate more. Maybe we can influence other people more. Now, we shouldn't just accept that the situation is like this, na yung power is held by the few. So, isang application yun. And the third naman is yung masculinity and femininity. They found out also that some nations have more masculine, quote and unquote, have more masculine traits or, personality types. Or like, for example, mas assertive if it's, related to a more masculine idea. Mas assertive, mas competitive. Whereas yung feminine, quote and unquote, cultures naman, mas modest and caring, no? Yan yung idea nila. This is an old study also. And they found out na men and women in, quote and unquote, more masculine countries, the women in masculine countries are not quite as assertive and competitive as the men in those countries. Okay? Pero, yung men and women in feminine countries, medyo similar yung kanilang caring values and all these things. So, there's a greater difference in the sexes in masculine countries. Okay? Masculine countries are mga, Japan, Austria, Ireland, US, Britain. And they found out that certain countries like Sweden, Norway, Netherlands, Thailand, Portugal, were ranked as more feminine. So, may cultural influences din. Last naman is uncertainty avoidance. Yung uncertainty avoidance naman is when your nation, your country, is more accepting of uncertainty or not. No? They tolerate uncertainty or lack of structure. Okay? Where do you think the Philippines is here? Okay? Yung Philippines naman dito is more tolerant of uncertainty. Siguro kasi sanay tayo sa magulo. Ang lungkot, no? Sanay tayo sa magulo at sanay tayo sa people having, few people having the power. So, what does this tell us? So what? Ayan. Yung mga people or nations that are high in uncertainty avoidance, they are actually, yung mataas, no? They are actually less tolerant to other ideas. So in other words, since tayo ay more tolerant sa uncertainty, like the Philippines, no? We are more accepting daw on differing ideas. So this is something good naman. If yung ating power distance is unfortunate, yung ating uncertainty avoidance is at least, medyo mababa yung uncertainty avoidance natin. Ibig sabihin, pwede tayong makatolerate ng uncertainty. And this has a correlation on how well we tolerate other ideas as well. So that's good. So, integrating these two, since medyo mababa yung ating power distance, sabihin okay lang sa atin na magkaroon ng power yung few. At mataas yung ating openness sa ideas of others kasi mababa yung ating uncertainty avoidance. Then maybe yun nga, we can share the ideas, we can share the education, and we can share the, just the notion that we shouldn't rely on the few people having power, and we should have them, be held accountable for the things that might not be okay. Like for example, yung mga flood controls at mga kung ano-anong mga nawala naman pala, so ghost projects, corruption, and all these things. So yun. So yun yung mga so what natin sa part na yan. So be aware of these biological and cultural influences when you do, deal with people. All right? So that's it for this video. I'll see you on the next video.